process a loss so quickly, but what are your initial thoughts on this one?
Just have to be better defensively. Wasn't good enough defensively, and then just we're trying to be too cute with it tonight. A lot of perimeter play in the O-zone, not getting a lot of shots to the net. So we started to figure it out in the third a little bit, but we just got to figure that out quicker.
What's the key to that for you guys, being able to identify that a little bit quicker and get the page turned on it?
I think it's just getting guys to the net. For us, especially as D, I think it's more just D1 shooting rather than passing it D to D. If we get guys at the net, we got to reward them. And I think tonight, like I said, it was just a lot of perimeter play, not generating a lot of high opportunity scoring chances. So, yeah.
What were some of the challenges with creating tonight?
Again, yeah, I think it's just guys. We had a lot of possession tonight. Just no internal play. Everything that we had was along the boards, kind of rolling around the top, around the boards. So some nights it goes like that. We just got to find a way to get it to the net. It starts with us on the back end, making sure that we can get pucks through.
Cale, it felt like there was the energy was a little low on the ice tonight. Did you guys, is that kind of the back-to-back coming out a little bit?
Yeah. For first back-to-back of the season. We're going to have a lot more of these, so we got to be prepared. We've traditionally, I feel like, been a pretty good team in the second half of back-to-back. So, again, for us tonight, it's just making sure that the energy's high at the beginning, feeding off that. But I thought we were there at times. We just have to make sure that we start to generate more in the zone.
How did the challenges of Ross Colton leaving the game and requiring top guys to absorb more minutes on top of maybe fatigue that was setting in make things more challenging? Yeah,
it's tough. You lose another guy like that, so all the lines are jumbled. So it's just it's kind of tough for the forwards to get that flow, and that's not an excuse or anything like that. But obviously, to have another guy of that caliber go down again is tough. So hopefully he's okay, and yeah.
With what you've done the last 5 games, how can you ensure that this doesn't affect momentum going into the Tampa game?
I think we just got to watch this one, to be honest with you. Learn from a couple things. Again, I think you just touched on the energy might just not have been quite there. Maybe that's why we were more perimeter and not as physical, getting to the net and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Thanks, Cale.
Overall assessment of how this game shook out?
I think it was pretty sloppy. For whatever reason, it took us being down going into the third period to finally ramp up the urgency and intensity, and then you saw us get some motion, get more pucks on net. 3-quarter ice game basically the whole period, but I don't know why it took that long to have that intensity in the game.
Last season, you guys were better on the day after back-to-back. You came in tonight looking like there might have been energy a little bit low. Do you feel like that was a
Yeah, I think it, to be expected on a back-to-back, and I think we made it harder on ourselves than we should have. Especially like in the first period, I felt like we were turning tons of pucks over in the middle of the ice. Couldn't get in on the forecheck, which is sort of the staple of our game right now with the lineup we have. And I think with that, you saw us spend a lot of time in the D zone, and on a back-to-back against a team who's fresh, skating around. It didn't look good for us out there, especially in the first. And I think we just hurt ourselves.
A little bit of penalty trouble there in the first. Did that take the flow out of your guys' game a little bit?
I think maybe a little bit, but I think you can just sort of expect that and should be able to rally through that. I think it's just all part of it, so you just try and stay focused on what you can control.
You get tomorrow off before facing the talented Tampa Bay team on Wednesday. What key parts do you want to see changed or cleaned up before then?
I think just the sort of the breakouts and the forecheck. I think those two areas, if we're breaking the puck out well as like a 5-man unit and getting through the neutral zone with speed and chipping the puck in when the opportunity is there and there's not a play to be made, I think that's when our game is sort of rolling, and then lines follow that up, and then you sort of gain momentum, and it slowly just builds on itself. Whereas tonight, I felt like we weren't breaking the puck out great, and then we'd turn it over, and then we could never really get anything sustained because we weren't providing any pressure. So I think sort of back to the basics that have given us success on that winning streak.
Is it difficult to kind of go through this stretch where it seems like the top six has been getting jumbled up, and then you lose Ross Colton? I mean, obviously you only want to talk about the things you can control, but just not having that consistency with your line mates.
Yeah, it's never ideal when things are fluid like that. But we're all pros. We're all used to playing in different combinations. So you just sort of have to continue to do what you do, regardless of who you're with. Covey goes up with Nate and Mikko there at the end, and for him, it's staying on pucks and doing what gives him success. And then Ivan comes with Mitzi and I, and it's sort of the same thing. Like stay within your role that has given you the success you've had. It's not deviating from what you're doing good.
With all the scoring coming in the first period for you guys, was it something that Chicago was making more challenging through the second and the third, or was it just self-inflicted?
I'd say it was more self-inflicted. I think, like I mentioned, the third we were really good, and I mean, but besides that, the first 40 minutes we just weren't getting enough shots on net because we didn't really have the puck, and then when we did, we were passing up plays or turning the puck over, not winning enough battles in the offensive zone to result in those shots on net.
How are you guys going to just kind of let this one go and pick up to face Tampa Bay on Wednesday?
Day off, so just try and reset, disconnect from things a little bit, and then I'm sure we'll come back, do some video in the morning, I'd imagine, and focus on things we can learn from. And you know, I think you can learn more from losing than you can winning. So it's just, what did we do that didn't work? What did we do that did work on the prior winning streak? And then just go from there and try and build it back up again. I mean, we had a good streak there, but now it's putting that behind us, learning from it, and trying to start a new one.
Casey Millsap has consistently produced since the start of the season, no matter where he's been. What have you seen playing alongside him that has rewarded him?
I think his playmaking ability is unbelievable. He can pass that puck wherever he wants. It's pretty remarkable, to be honest. And I think he's playing with a lot of poise with the puck. Forehand, backhand, small seam, big seam. Like you got to imagine that it's going to find you, and trusting that. So his ability to stick handle within a phone booth and everything is pretty remarkable. So as a line mate, it's just trying to get open and make it easier on him, and then get him the puck. You know, we're going to do good things if the puck's in his hands because he can make great plays.
Despite it being a tough game for you guys, do you see any positive moving into the game on Wednesday?
I think, you know, the third period, you know, you can take stuff from that. We have to figure out why we didn't do that more consistently throughout the game, but there were flashes there that we can build on, and you know, just try and reset for Tampa, who's obviously a great opponent coming in, and we have a lot of blood against them.
Thanks, Logan.
Thanks, Logan. Thank you, guys.
Appreciate you.
Go ahead.
Coach, Ross Colton out in the third.
Yeah, he's out. He took that shot. He's going to miss some time, but we'll get a better feel on how much time that's going to be tomorrow or by Wednesday morning.
What is kind of just your overall assessment of how this game should go?
We were no good. Again, second to me, we weren't as good as last night even. So we just looked tired. Execution's bad. Mentally, not sharp. You know, so happens. Looked like we didn't have no energy though, right from the drop of the puck.
Seems like you guys kind of got a surge of energy there at the third. What do you carry from that on to the next game?
Yeah, probably nothing. You know, because it was okay, but it was like just acceptable. Like they battled and grind. You know, even in the second period to grind a little bit, it was better than the first, but it was a struggle for us. You know what I mean? So, yeah, losing Colts didn't help because it's a whole, you know, wrecks a whole nother line that was, you know, has been dangerous for us. So, yeah, but we're not looking at moral victories here right now. You know, like it wasn't our best game, needed to be better, and it wasn't. You know, it's 2 in a row, so it's last night though we were way more dangerous than we were tonight on the offensive side of it. They just looked quicker and stronger and hungrier, and their execution was better.
Did seem like everything was like a step slow, but then there was also just like simple passes that weren't. I'm just like, is it one or the other or both? Or
well, it's all of it. You know, that's part about, you know, when you're tired and if your mental game's not there and you're not sharp, then you're not usually aren't making the right decisions, and the execution struggles. Like second period, we had a ton of ozone time. Looked like we were starting to find it, but we were reluctant to shoot the puck, and you know we didn't have a bunch of dangerous scoring plays tonight.
It's our 10th game. Do you break things up in chunks for the season
Yeah.
and you evaluate things?
Yeah, 10 game segments for us. We look at it after 5, but like 10 game segments is how we like to go, because it's a big enough sort of sample size to put the analytics together and show you what you're doing well and show you what you're not doing well. And you know, the reality of it is you need to kind of helps you stay on track too, regardless of what your record is, right? Like you need 12 points every 10 games. You get 2 games at the end of the year to play with to pick up some points if you're fighting for standings. And you know, so we finished this one 5-5. You know, starting 0-4, we're going a good run. Tonight would have been the one that gets you the 12 points, but we don't get there, so we're a little short. We'll have to make it up someplace else.
How do you kind of assess that, knowing that in the beginning of the year you knew it might be tough, just given all the injuries, but at the same time you played, I think, 3 playoff games in these 10 games?
Yeah, a little bit of a, regardless of opponent, I don't look at that. I mean, I know but for me, it was a little bit of a roller coaster, right? Not the start we wanted, not getting results, even though we're playing pretty good in a couple of those games, and we go and play really well. There's lots to like. The finish of it stings, but it is what it is. We're gonna move on.
What do you think of Georgia night after the first?
Yeah, I thought he was good. Yeah, he looked solid after the first, no question. And you can't really fault him on some of those goals. There's some bad luck, bad bounces on a few of those. Yeah.
Logan O'Connor said that you learn more from losses than you learn from wins. What are you kind of focused on with this day off before you face Tampa Bay?
Well, Tampa Bay, tough opponent, deep team. You know, we'll have to figure out the health of our lineup, see what we're going to do. But we do the same thing regardless, wins or losses. We'll break it down and see what we see. I mean, it's pretty obvious tonight that we didn't have the jump we needed, you know, so yeah, we'll look at it. There's lots, though, that we can do just to make it a simpler game for us when we don't have our legs.
Tracking was with the Eagles over the road trip for a conditioning stint. What is his plan to return here
Yeah,
to the team?
we'll talk about that tomorrow and make a decision on what we're going to do. So I don't have a firm answer for you just yet.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. Yep.
Thanks.